I've watched all these Instagram videos. It's going to be so easy. The largest order I ever had was 500 cookies.
I feel like I'm doing like a hardcore interview, like the way this is set up.
I know.
But it's like...
It's the bright light and then like directly
yeah, like I'm eye-fucking you right now, like hard, like just to like get my point across. Like, oh, this cookie industry is freaking, it's corrupt. Are you ready to get into it?
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited.
Me too.
In my very 60 minutes pose right now.
Yeah, I like it.
M&M's or Skittles?
No, thank you.
Neither?
No.
Not even on your cookies?
No. I mean, I would put M&M's like in a cookie bar.
Skittles.
But I'm a peanut butter cup or no, thank you.
Oh, nothing?
Yeah.
So you don't have a sweet tooth, really?
I do, but it's just specifically for peanut butter cups.
Hey, I don't think this has ever happened. Like, where do we go from here? Do we just end it?
I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Hey, see you later.
Yeah. Job done.
No, I just like what I like. And then if it's not that, then I'll...
Well, peanut butter cup, like Reese's Pieces?
Yeah, like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Okay.
I don't want those healthy ones from Whole Foods.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
No.
Even almond butter, it's just not good.
No.
Nope. I
What
want
about
the cheapest
like if you're going
peanut
to do
butter.
like a Snickers, like with nuts, the Snickers bars?
They have a peanut butter Snickers. It's pretty good.
Oh, so Snickers bars aren't peanuts in there normally?
They have peanuts, but I like the peanut butter ones.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I'll find those for Halloween, and I like those.
I don't like peanut butter at all.
Oh.
And so, like, it doesn't even like they could be 100 Snickers bars or 100 peanut butter cups in there, never touch. Like,
really?
They would just sit there forever.
I'm like
I have
that with
no
ice
desire.
cream.
Huh?
John will buy all the ice cream, and then he'll be like, "Do you want some?" And I'm like, "No, thanks." And he'll just have like a freezer of ice cream.
Ice cream's the best. Really?
I mean, if I'm really hot, then maybe I'll have a little bit of ice cream, but
Oh my god.
he had a mid-morning ice cream break today. He came up from work and ate an ice cream bar and then went back down.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I would love it if he was doing everything. Like he's like had a routine. He gets the ice cream out, gets the whipped cream out,
Yeah.
a certain amount of sprinkles. Like he did a whole ice cream bar for himself.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, since you don't do any of that stuff, what do you do to pay the bills?
Well, right now I don't do that either.
Yep.
No, thank you to both of those questions.
Fair enough.
No, so we're remodeling our house.
Yes.
And so because I have a home-based bakery,
Yep.
it's cottage food is how they...
What's your homemade bakery?
Oh, yeah. So I do custom sugar cookies. So any of the sugar cookies with like designs or characters or for weddings or corporate events, stuff like that.
What's your name of your business?
Katie the Cookie Bee.
Okay, put your finger up like this. Ding.
Ding.
And that's where we're going to put the, the logo.
Right here. So it's Katie the Cookie Bee, but because we're remodeling, I had to close, obviously.
Okay.
And so right now I am just full-time mom.
Full-time mum with
which is a job in itself.
Just a 1-year-old with
A
a head of hair
1-year-old.
that would rival both of us put together.
Yep. It's just its own little galaxy out there. It has its own like solar system. Gravitational pull. All the dog hair ends
I was
up
going to
there.
say, all the stuff you don't want in the hair is just hovering
Yeah.
around there. Like, there's gum, there's all like sand and everything. You're just like, God.
Yeah, food.
Yeah.
He uses it as a napkin
Oh, yeah.
sometimes. And I'm like,
Every kid that's like that young, they're just wiping their hands. Oh, this is gross. Whoa, get me out of here.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm full-time mom to him. And then I just feel like we're spending money because we're at that end point of the remodel
God,
too, where
yeah.
I'm like, we have to buy this for this room and we have to buy curtains and we have to buy
Everything's so expensive.
toilets and we
Yeah.
have to buy like,
And it's
I
not
don't know.
fun stuff. Like, you're not like, oh, let's buy that massive TV that we can get
Yeah.
watched. You're like, oh, let me buy those curtains for that one room that we probably won't end up using
Yeah.
because it's a guest room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. I feel you. We're going through the same sort of thing here.
Yep.
And everything's way more expensive than I want to.
yes.
I have to bite my tongue a lot.
Yep.
So with the cookie bee stuff,
Yeah.
when you're doing that, when you're not remodeling, and I'm assuming that you're remodeling and your kitchen is being made with you to do that better.
Yes.
Right? Because your house is probably smaller than it was before.
Our house is bigger than it was
Oh,
before.
sorry. I mean, yes, you didn't. We shrunk our house because we had a kid and we were like, let's be more intimate. No, I meant like your house before was smaller.
Yes.
Even though I know that, I was sort of doing this for the audience, but your house was smaller. Now it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
And you're making a kitchen that's more cookie friendly. Like, how do you make something more cookie friendly?
Well,
Do you have like 7 ovens going?
I did pick out a double oven, so I'm very excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the interesting things about being a licensed cottage food baker is that the state comes in and like inspects your kitchen and stuff before they let you open. And then just like a restaurant, they just come by sometimes to inspect
randomly.
and make sure that you are still doing everything right. So
How many random pop-ins have you had?
well, then COVID,
Okay.
after I opened, COVID hit about a year after I opened. And so then they weren't doing the in-house inspections anymore.
Yep.
So
They would just FaceTime you?
yeah.
Oh, would they really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so if
just
you
made
got
that-
licensed during COVID, you had to like carry them around on a laptop and like show them
No
your
way.
space and stuff like that. So I imagine that like once I'm back up and running, they'll probably
pop
come
in.
by
Yeah.
and check.
Yeah.
But so we made our pantry like the size of a small bedroom because that will
Okay.
be considered my workspace.
Okay.
And so I'll be able to have all of my cookie stuff in there. I'll be able to close the door. No little sticky 1-year-old fingers will be in there.
No fingerprints in your homemade
Right,
cookie.
right. Little bites taken out of each one.
Pre-tasted.
So yeah, once I'm back doing that, it will be really nice to have a slightly bigger space.
How long, what's your average batch of cookies you're making? Like, if you are making one for a party or whatever like that, like, what's your average batch?
So my smallest timeline that
Yeah.
I'm comfortable doing is 3 days, start to finish.
Okay.
So,
Is this with, like, you're making the dough or everything? Or do you have, like, somewhere you get the dough from?
so I make all the dough. I develop my own recipes. I do all of that. So,
Okay.
like, now that I'm closed right now,
Yeah.
I'm doing a ton of, like, recipe testing.
Mm.
I've learned to make marshmallows. I'm figuring out the right kind of, like, brownie bar, like, that
Wow.
I can start adding to
Yeah.
my recipes.
Yep.
So that when I reopen, I have all of them ready to
Coming
go.
in fresh. Coming
Yeah.
in hot.
We're going to have new flavors. But,
Just not M&M's.
I mean, maybe in some of the
No,
bars.
no Skittles, I guess.
Peanut butter cups.
Peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
Nothing but.
Yeah. So,
Well, you wouldn't be able to get any out. You just start eating
I would
them,
just
right?
eat them all. Yeah. So start to finish, I make the dough,
Yep.
and then it has to chill for a little bit in the fridge.
Okay.
And
Can
then
you freeze this and like save it for like if you like at the beginning of the year, let's say March is your quietest month, and you go, I'm gonna pack do as much as I can and freeze this, and so then I have it ready to go in November, and I can just crank these out.
So I have frozen uncooked dough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sell it
Oh, okay.
after I've frozen it. So
Oh.
if I have a little bit left over, sometimes I'll freeze it and then I'll use it because I have to make samples. So like I'm thinking about Christmas cookies in June.
Wow. Okay.
And so sometimes I'll freeze dough and then I'll use that to make samples. And then like we eat them. It's
Yeah,
still
yeah, yeah.
good. It's just
Yeah,
not
yeah.
something that I would sell.
Yeah, you're not comfortable
As
with
a
the
fresh
standard of
cookie?
it. Yeah, yeah. Would people know the difference?
Maybe. Depends on how long you froze it for, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if it's coming out
And how
like,
well you package
Captain
it.
America out of like a 80-year freeze.
Yeah.
You don't
Nobody
know that
wants
Marvel
that.
reference, do you?
I do.
Oh, you
Captain
do?
America, yeah,
Oh,
when
yeah,
he comes out.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
He goes in little and then comes out big.
I didn't even know when he gets stuck in like the Arctic freeze, and then like they find him when he's older and he's been like stuck in the freeze.
yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, shitty reference.
It's okay.
So minimum 3 day, but how many cookies are you making for that?
So before baby, I was comfortable taking about 8 to 10 dozen per week.
8 to 10 dozen.
After baby, I'm like, 1 dozen, this is so much work. So I don't know yet because I haven't really tested it out. Mm-hmm. We're not in our house.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah,
we're just in this
How
weird-
long until you're in the house?
We're hoping to be in around Christmas.
Ah,
So
okay.
countdown. is
Countdown.
on.
Yeah.
But then I'll have to get relicensed. For the business side of stuff,
Yeah.
I'll have to get relicensed and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And
Is that a long
unpack.
process or?
Depends on how many people are just in the queue, kind of.
Oh, okay. So
it can be.
a New
It's a
Year's
pretty
resolution.
extensive application process. You have to send in like blueprints of your workspace. You have to prove that you can keep the bakery side of your ingredients separate from your personal side. There's, like you have to prove that you can sanitize all of your equipment and stuff like that.
So how are you sanitizing your equipment? Are you just using bleach? Like,
Yeah, so we have to have 3 sinks.
Yep.
And so you have a wash sink, a rinse sink, and then a sanitizing sink.
Wow.
And you can use like tubs.
Tupperware or tubs.
Yeah. You don't actually have to have 3 sinks.
Yeah. You have to have 3 containers.
You have to have 3 containers. And then like the little bleach strips to make sure you're not putting in too much or too little and all of that kind of stuff.
Far out. That's so much work.
It's a lot of work.
And so that's why I think people forget. They're like, oh, you made cookies.
Yeah.
Why are these cookies? I have no idea what you charge. But how much is a dozen cookies?
So my minimum cost for a dozen cookies is $65.
Oh, that's it?
And that's like for a simple cookie.
Yeah,
like if I were to do a character cookie, they start at, if it has eyeballs, it starts at $90 a dozen.
Yeah.
Just because you know what characters look like.
Yeah.
I can't just
well, I'm sure,
mess up and then...
and then you mistake on one, like at the final part, and you're like, okay, well, let me go get this other one. Like, yeah. I see you. But also, I think people don't see how much work happens outside of just the cookie. You know what I mean?
Right.
The prep, the cleaning, the business licensing. Oh, now I've got to clean. I've got 3 sinks, and I've got to do bleach test. I've got to, like, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And the packaging and all of that kind of stuff. It all adds time.
It does. It adds time. Do you ever have someone come in and help?
I mean, John.
After his ice cream break?
Yeah.
So people
when
don't
he's
know
done eating
John's
ice cream.
is Kate's husband.
He's my husband.
Just a random dude in there. Just a random John.
I just start yelling, anyone named John?
John, come in. And some guy walks in. He's got a big, massive beard. And like, you'll do.
Yeah, that's fine.
Put a beard net on. We'll get this done.
John helps. My mom has helped sometimes, which is really fun.
Yep. Was your mum a big baker? Like, how did you get in to baking cookies? Like, was this a trend that you saw? We have 2 dogs going bananas underneath it.
Yep.
Where'd you get influenced by this? Like to get decide I'm going to do cookies. I'm going to bake. I'm going to do this. So how did that come about?
So at the time when I started this, and I kind of had the idea, I was nannying for you guys.
Oh yeah,
and also for the Hodges.
Yeah. That's my brother and sister.
Yep. And so both you guys and the Hodges kind of needed me less and less. Your kids were getting older. And I was sort of wondering what I was going to do with a job.
By the way, I'm going to say this. You were such a rad caretaker for our kids.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
We loved it. We were like, because there's certain people in your life that, one, you're an awesome person. Like, we've had a friendship past that.
Yeah.
And so that makes up for it. But just like you're wanting to like interact and do stuff with the kids and like doing like, I know it seems silly, but when you were doing like Instagram or Snapchat filters and be like, hey, blah, 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 send this. And you'd send it to us and that would be a thing of like, oh my gosh, they're having fun and doing stuff. It's not just here, put a TV show on and, you do need a diaper change and just out. It was just lovely. We loved it. The kids loved it. It was amazing.
I loved them.
Yeah.
I mean, I still do. I think they're just growing up into cool people.
You reckon?
I think so.
Yeah. We'll see.
But I just loved, I loved being a nanny. If I could have stayed your guys' nanny forever, I would have. Just because I liked you guys and I liked Kevin and Natalie and I liked the kids. They're just funny.
Yeah.
They're just funny people, and to see them like
it's also
growing.
Nice when you can be removed.
Yeah.
Like where I feel like if I was looking after Paul, I'd be like, oh yeah, Paul's awesome. This is great. And then like there's times when late at night when you're like having to do something, you're like, oh my gosh, just go to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I loved being a nanny, but I also wasn't a parent at the time. And so
Yeah.
I got to go home to like my clean house where
Yes.
the kitchen was put together and, you know,
Yeah, yeah. So you could just be like, oh yeah, job done.
Yeah.
I can go down. Oh, I'm gonna go out for drinks right now.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about anything.
yeah, I don't have to find a babysitter. I
Yeah.
am the babysitter.
Exactly.
But anyway, so at the time I was kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
transitioning out of that, and I knew I didn't want to go like find a job. That sounded dumb. And I didn't want to find a new family because I really liked being friends with you guys outside of being your nanny. I didn't
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
just be a nanny to somebody I didn't know, and I
Yeah,
didn't know their
yeah.
parenting, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I was watching all of these cookie decorating videos on TikTok
Yeah.
or Instagram, and I was like, I could do that. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I often don't feel like I'm a very creative person, but I can take influence from other creative people and create my own thing out of that. And so I knew that I had the art skills.
These dogs are killing me.
I knew that I had the art skills to
Yeah,
figure
yeah.
it out, and I knew that I could learn it. So I told John, well, first it was my nephew's birthday. So I made cookies for his birthday thinking, I've watched all these Instagram videos. It's going to be so easy.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't. But I knew I could get good at it. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
one of those skills that,
Well,
like, you try it and then you're like, this is something I can learn
Yeah.
if I want to.
Yeah. So when you're doing some of these like really intricate designs, there's someone out there that's put in the background work. Oh, this is the best technique to use.
Yeah.
And so you're able to go and go, oh yeah, let me use that technique and then add to that technique.
Right. There are content creators
Yeah.
or people who have designed classes on how to do this
Yeah.
that I can then
Did
use
you
as
take a masterclass
resources.
or anything?
I've
Or you
taken a
just learned it?
couple.
Oh, okay.
I've signed up for a couple kind of icing technique ones
Yeah,
that
yeah.
have helped me.
Yeah, because I feel like that would be the toughest part,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is trying to figure out, like, I had no idea. I only realized it when you were doing it because I watched yours and you will do the icing all over. And I'm like, well, how does she make it so bloody smooth? And then you get the little pin thing and you like, get out, like, it must be getting out the bubbles and
Yeah.
the bumps and stuff.
Yep.
And then I'm like, oh, I would not have thought of that.
Yeah.
Like, there's someone that's tested that over and over again and
Yeah.
figured out what to do.
And figured out the right tool to use.
Yeah.
And then I can just use that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, does John jump on board? Is he just like, yeah, go for it? Like, give it a shot, or is he like,
So
are
he's
you a person
the,
that's
like,
came up with a different
ultimate support hype man.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Oh.
So I was so nervous. I was like, okay, I'm going to take him and the dogs for a walk, and then I'm going to tell him we're out for a walk, and then if he doesn't like this idea, I'm just going to pretend like it never happened. So I take him for a walk, and I said, I made these cookies for Jaxie, my nephew, and I think that I could make this into a job.
Mm-hmm.
And like instantly, he's like, yes, what do you need from me? And I was like, I don't know. But I had kind of put together like this business plan for idiots kind of thing where I was like, okay, I'll take $200.
Yeah.
I'll get the equipment that I think I need, and I'll see how good I can get. So I took my $200
Take your $200.
and
What is $200 going to do for you in a business?
I mean, it's pretty cheap, right? Like, the most expensive thing that I had to buy probably came way later after I had started the business. So it was like cookie cutters and food coloring and figuring out
okay.
like what my preferences are in terms of how to do it. And then a lot of like flour and butter and sugar and eggs, but we have that anyways.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, so I just started with that and then looked into what it takes to open as a business.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we didn't know. I mean, how do you know
How
until
do
you know?
Well, that's what I was wondering. Is like, so I thought you were saying the $200 was meant to cover everything, like your business.
Oh, no,
license
no,
and all
no.
that. And I was like, man, how'd you do it?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I just took $200 and like practiced.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
To
yeah.
see if, because I figured $200, I'll buy cookie cutters that we can use later. You know,
Yeah.
I was still nannying, so I had taste testers, and I was like, at the worst,
Yeah.
we'll use them to make clay projects,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then I didn't use my food safe cookie cutters to make clay.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
For anyone who's going to FaceTime us right now.
Yeah.
So, did you just fall in love with it straight away?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. It's this blend of creativity
Yep.
and mindlessness that works for me.
So when you say mindlessness, is it like almost like Zen? So I feel like sometimes when I draw, that I'm in a space where all I'm thinking about is drawing. No other ideas, and so people when they talk about meditation, I sometimes feel like that's my place where I do it. And so I wonder if that's like that for you.
Yeah.
If you're, I've got 12 cookies to do. Here's 2 hours of me just like doing these designs.
Yeah.
And just thinking about that design.
And then at the end, like you have this physical product that you're very excited about and is making someone's day better.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not a necessity. Nobody needs cookies to live.
I feel the same way about my drawing.
Right. But it's so cool to have it and like to just bring this little brightness, whether it's a baby shower or a birthday or, you know, like a wedding, or even if they're just like corporate event cookies, to have a handmade thing that makes somebody's day a little like brighter and yummier and all of that kind of stuff is.
So, just on a little side tangent, years ago I had a little startup called Punch Keeper, and we were in the University of Washington business thing, and I wasn't a part of it. We had a person that we'd put as the CEO that was a part of it, and she was running the competition, and we're like, how can we market? We were so scrappy. I'd made a sign out of like foam core, and it just looked like shit. Like I look back and I'm like, why was I thinking this is okay? But anyway, and so the best marketing we did though was we had an intern, and we couldn't go, us personally couldn't go around and talk to people that were into the idea. So we made cookies. Well, I didn't. Jillian made cookies that had that were square and had the P punched out.
Okay.
So it was punch keeper. That's
Yeah.
punched out. So we had the P's and the punch out. Then our branding was red, I think, or a slight pink at the time. So we put a little red on there. But all we did was do the icing red on it. Took them around. Was a hit for us.
Yeah.
So to me, when you were saying like, oh, brighten people's day, like the small thing of this joy can bring. We end up coming like 16th out of like 100 and something people.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I really believe, like the idea was great.
Yeah.
But I really believe getting in front of those people by bringing them, having the interns bring around cookies, and people are like, oh yeah, this is sweet. Oh, where is it? Over in the back there? Because we were in the back corner, tucked away.
Yeah.
Like, had no hope, a ton. So I imagine the corporate events with your cookies that are at a such higher level that people are bringing like the excitement, the joy and all that is huge.
Yeah.
And so paying like, what, $60, $90 for a 12, I'm sure the corporate people are buying way more than that. Then you're like, they're going like, yeah, sweet, this is fantastic. And people will remember that.
Yeah.
For that. How much of your work is word of mouth?
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah. I've never paid for an ad.
Never paid for an ad.
Mm-mm.
Do you find, are you mainly on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yep. Do you find that works for you?
So I have an Instagram page.
Yep.
I think that I get a lot of business from Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I have a website. John set up a website for me because that's, people say, what does your husband do? And I go, I don't know. He types a lot. And so he set up a website for me. Mm-hmm. And we can track where we get traffic from. Yep. And I would say like, I don't know, 80% of it is from Instagram.
Yep. Is everything local, or you ship?
I only do local. So Washington, each state has their own food laws.
Yep.
Washington State, you can ship now locally. You can ship within Washington State, but it scares me too much.
In case it gets broken.
They get broken, or something gets lost. Yeah. They don't make it on time for the party.
Yeah.
So I don't.
So wow. So you are getting. So on average, when you were working, how many requests were you getting like a week?
I don't know, because each party would be different, right? Yeah. Some people only want 2 dozen. Some people want 10 dozen.
10 so how is making 10 dozen?
The largest order I ever had was 500 cookies.
500?
And I cried probably every day.
I want to cry for
Yeah.
you now.
It was rough.
How long was your prep? Like, how long did it take?
It took me a full week.
I'm surprised that it only took you. Were you working like 10-hour days or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't getting out of my pajamas. Like, I would shuffle into the kitchen and, like, wash my hands, put my hair up, work.
Get to work, yeah.
And then
amazing.
John would be like, "Are you alive?" And I was like, "I don't think so."
No. Bleeding your fingertips.
Yeah.
Using,
Yeah.
Is that red or blood?
Yeah.
All right, so what's the goals of the future of this? Do you just want to keep it going for fun? Are you like, do you want to become like Mrs. Fields Cookies, like Katie B's Cookies around? Do you want to get on one of the cooking shows and become like, do a cooking?
I think a cooking show would be so fun.
It would be so fun.
But I don't know if I would have enough new ideas.
Oh.
Right?
So, maybe.
I mean, how many things can you bake and have a show? Like, how do you have a show, like a cooking show
They
for
seem to do it.
10 years?
There's like that. There's a whole show called, what's it called? Is It Cake?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like when I first thought of that, saw it, I was like, this is ridiculous. Because you'd see this, like, there's like that lady, what's her name, like Side Cake or something like that, or Sideways Cake on Instagram, and she makes cakes that look like
realistic.
So realistic. But even like she made a burger and the lettuce looked real.
Yeah.
And it was cake.
Yeah.
Like, or it was like a icing or something like that.
Right.
And I'm just like, how? Like, I would have gone, and it would be hard for my brain to eat it because it would look, I'd be like, I need to be eating meat right now.
Yeah.
But it's cake. Like, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
But then these people do this, like, Is It Cake show, and that blows my mind. And it's way more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like with cookies, you've got to be some really creative to sort of think outside of what you can do.
We are watching the Christmas Cookie Challenge on Food Network right now.
Okay, yeah.
Where they get, it's like chopped, but cookies. And you have to design something like on the spot. And I think something like that. I don't know that I would do it like as a marketing or like as a business venture, but I think it would be fun to do it
as fun.
As like a fun thing.
Yeah.
Because you have to like think on your feet. And
I imagine with your personality and charming and having fun on there, people would just fall in love with you, honestly.
Oh, thanks.
I think that the aftermath of going on one of those shows, Katie Cookie Bee, they'd be like, oh my gosh, we want to have one of those. And you'd be like, 500 cookies a week.
Yeah. I'll cry every week.
But, so what would be, what is the goal, after that? We went on a tangent.
So I think the goal, well, it's changed, obviously, since now we have a little guy.
Yep.
And it's all from home. So it's kind of hard to imagine what will happen when he's bigger and running around and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's like kind of like he's walking now, right?
Almost,
yeah. So he's
so
crawling, I think last time I saw him.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, hey, I can't wait till you crawl. And then you're like, oh, dang, you're crawling.
Yeah.
Can't wait till you walk. Oh, dang it, you walk. And
Yeah.
they just, as you know, they just get into so many things.
Yep.
Like Hazel, my daughter was the beast. And she would just like go into the cupboard.
Yep.
In 5 seconds, just pull everything out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was nuts. So, like, do you think it's just going to keep...
I think it'll continue to be what it is, which is custom things for events. And I'll just do what I can.
The most expensive cookie? Like doing one that's got gold, like, shavings on it or something like that?
No. Because I would want to eat, like, I want to make something people feel good about eating.
Yeah.
And if you spend $100 on one cookie...
Yeah,
no one would want to eat it.
What is the most expensive cookie, you reckon?
I don't know.
There has to be some ridiculous one. You should just have one cookie on there that I will make this and it's $1,000.
I should. And it will be like Tahitian sugar.
Like you spend $100 on it. Like, like this is a $100 cookie made, but it's $1,000 for you to buy.
Yeah.
And then like you make a big event of it.
You could see who can come up with the most expensive ingredients.
Yeah.
Because then you'd have to source them. Where would you even get them?
I don't know.
I don't
either. Even know where to get eggs right now.
The other day I went to the store. Luckily, it was not when I was working or I would have panicked. But I went to the store during like that egg crisis, right?
God, yeah.
And I was looking for eggs just because we needed them for ourselves. And normally you stand at the thing and you're like, how much do I want to spend on eggs today?
Yeah.
There was no eggs. There was not any eggs.
Oh
There
my
wasn't
gosh.
even like the eggs in the carton. And I almost peed myself laughing in the grocery store because there was one single egg.
Oh, just sitting in there.
Sitting on the
How lonely is that
refrigerator.
egg? That egg just like.
And it wasn't even broken or anything. You know how people take the
Yeah.
broken ones
Oh, yeah.
out? It was just this one egg. And I was like, what are you doing? Where's your home?
Go home, egg. Find your home. Okay. Which movie do you think you've seen the most?
I'm not a big movie. Like, I'm not a TV movie person.
Oh, really?
No. I grew up with no cable. And so, like, there wasn't anything very cool to watch on. I watched a lot of, like, Aladdin cartoon reruns.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We grew up with 5 channels in
I think we
Australia.
had 5 channels.
Wow, yeah.
Growing
Most
up.
Americans are listening like, what?
Yeah.
You weren't watching MTV Real World like
Oh,
every day?
no.
Like I just had no idea what that was.
But I think the movie I've seen the most because I liked it, I owned it, is this weird little movie called Stardust. Do you love it?
Is that the one with Claire Danes?
Yes!
Yeah. Oh,
And
Julie
Michelle
I love it.
Pfeiffer? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Robert De Niro is
Yeah.
the pirate. Yes. I love it so much. It's
We
the
love it.
weirdest.
Yes.
Like, it sounds like it would make no sense, but then it's just such a fun movie. I probably haven't watched it.
Oh, so Julie and I were every once in a while, we're like, what do you want to watch? And then mate would be like, do you want to watch Stardust?
Yeah.
And we'll watch it. Like, we're probably, yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good.
And it's such a good background movie, too.
Yes.
Like, once you've seen it, it's a great background movie.
I agree. So that's a big thing. It's like I probably have seen Grown Ups, the movies, a lot. Mainly because it's so dumb. Not dumb in a bad way, but it's not. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
And so I can put it in the background. There's jokes happening. They're being silly. And then I'm like, okay, I can look at it for a second. And then it plays in my head and I can just keep drawing.
Yeah.
I do the same thing with like Wild and Out, the MTV.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Nick Cannon rap comedy.
Yep.
And I love it. I think they're really quick-witted. They're really funny.
Yeah.
Girls and guys and they and them's there. And then but I've seen a lot of the shows where I can just play it in my head and I know they're being funny. So it sort of distracts that part of my brain and I can get to work.
Yep.
So what do you do when you're doing 500 cookies then? What do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of audiobooks
Oh, okay.
and then podcasts.
Oh, okay.
I can't do music anymore. I used to do music a lot, but I do audiobooks and podcasts
You know,
now.
this has been a big thing with me and my friends. And a lot of us were getting so into audiobooks. And for me, the music elevates and controls my mood too much. So if I'm listening to hip hop, I get too energized, but then I crash after it. But if I'm listening to like music that flows through, then it's like it becomes too much backgroundy.
Yeah.
And then I get like distracted. I'm like, well, there's my phone. I
Yeah.
could do this. But if I'm listening to, so I would listen to the Harry Potter series when I was doing like a big project because my brain plays it over.
Yeah.
I know the characters from watching the movies. Which,
Yeah.
Side note, my wife and I are watching the Harry Potter series every Christmas, so we've just started again. And then so it keeps it distracted, but music would elevate. Like if I'm listening to stuff that's too down, I'd get too late. But I love music still. Like when I'm not doing a project, then I would listen to music as much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
Yeah,
I do it
so
when
why'd
I'm
you
running
stop?
too. I listen to audiobooks.
Don't you get distracted when you're running? Maybe you're not cursing as much as I am. Why the fuck am I doing this? I do it where I have to get to that line and be like, okay, I made it to like, now I gotta get to a fucking another line.
Yeah.
How far are you running?
Not a ton. I mean, I'm just running like 5 miles. I just did a half marathon.
5 miles is so far. It's not, don't say I just did 5 miles. Especially to an Australian where it's like, 1.6 kilometers to a mile?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not even, no. That's not like I just ran 5 miles. Fuck you, Kate.
Okay.
But that's your thing you love to do, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's your thing. Well, this next question's already been answered.
Uh-oh.
Outside of work or making cookies, what do you wish you did more of?
Oh.
Oh, I thought you were going to say running.
I do plenty of that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sweet. Do you run every day?
Pretty much.
Oh, wow.
I try to. I get really mean if I don't.
Really?
I'm super grumpy. Like,
Yeah, I
John
think-
is like, can you go for a run?
Can you get out of here?
Yeah. I would say, I mean, I wish that I got to spend more time with John. Like, you know, we both work from home, so we're
Yeah.
both around each other all the time. But I wish that we got to do more stuff together.
Yeah, I know exactly how that is.
You know?
Like, Jillian and I are at home a lot, but you're like, it's not, what's it called? Quality time. So
Right.
much. It's like almost like two ships passing, or two, like not
Yeah.
two ships passing, but like we might be like, oh, you're getting the kids ready, or I'm doing this, and
Yeah.
like, and then you just want that time to be like, hey, let's go and hang out. Like we used to walk the dogs
Yeah.
every morning, and now it's sort of like, oh, we're so busy, or she's got to run off and do something, and I'm like, well, I'll get the dogs walked later on.
Yeah.
But that used to be our time to like just, whether it's going over stuff or like coming up with a silly concept you want to run over. Yeah.
Totally.
What would you and John do?
Same, like, one of my favorite things to do with him is just go walk the dogs. You know, like, we would just, like, have a hot chocolate or, like, sneak wine in our tumblers or something, and we would just walk the dogs in the
We're
neighborhood.
drunk by the
Yeah.
the end of it. It's a crawl home, but
Yep. Depends on how long the walk is, I guess.
Oh, it's a goon
But it's
bag.
like-
How big's the tumbler? Is it a barrel?
A backpack.
It's got so bad, he's just doing a wheelie case now with a big straw.
But, I mean, for me, like, that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
To spend time together, because we're not doing anything else. We're not watching TV.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
eating dinner.
Yeah.
We're just going on a walk. And before the remodel, we would go on walks and try to go different places every time to, like, see different houses and be like, I'm judging the shit out of you guys.
We would do the same thing. We'd pick
Yeah.
a street and be like, or you go past your favorite house. You're like,
Yeah.
dang it, I love that house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find it's such a thing as you get older on how you look at other houses and stuff like that. God,
Yep.
Yeah. I feel you on that. All right. So hanging out with John.
Yep.
Fair enough. I would hang out with him too.
I know. He's cool.
He's a cool dude. When you visit the zoo, what animal are you most excited to see?
Anything baby. I want to
Anything-
see the baby animals.
Okay.
Can I pet it?
Sure.
Yep. I want to see it.
Yeah, you know what? I really think you should travel to Australia and then go through like one of the Australian zoos, because in Australia they have these sections in the zoo that are sort of open to the animals, especially like kangaroos and some of the emus and stuff. So you can just pat a kangaroo.
Yeah.
And you just hang like, oh, there's a wallaby, and it just comes over and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I can pat it. Where a lot of the zoos around here, you definitely feel like you're in like a little cage. It's
Yeah.
like you're as much in the cage as they are. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
One thing John and I have done when we travel is we try to go to zoos. So we've been to zoos in Thailand, and we went to the New York Zoo, and then we went to the zoo. I think we went to
New
one in
York Zoo?
Italy. But we have tried to go to zoos everywhere we go. And it's so funny because in America, it's very much like, keep your distance from the animals. Please don't sue us. Right? Like, we're keeping you safe. Where in Thailand, it was like,
Oh.
don't be an idiot.
Yeah.
If you're touching the inside of that hippopotamus's mouth and he eats your hand,
Good luck. Yeah. When we were in Bali, I felt
Yeah.
terrible because they just don't have the rules that we do. And there was like this, had to be like a 16-foot like crocodile.
yeah,
But it was like in a spot as big as this room. And it's just like, yeah, and I just felt bad. Like they were building up and I feel like adding it. Because
Yeah.
they must get like Westerners complain.
yep,
But you could tell it'd been there for a while.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, oh man, that's a bummer. Like I know they bake a lot, but they want to like swim and get that.
Yeah,
But
they
you
gotta
go to
run
ones,
around.
like I think the Australian Zoo it's Steve Irwin's old Steve Irwin's
Yeah.
zoo, but he's passed away. Rip. See a big guy. They have it. Well, I think they have it where the crocodiles will come out for their exhibition, but they'll have it where they can go out to their like spot where they
Yeah.
can be and enjoy life a bit
like
more.
a nature spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty like I have such a like I love that zoos do so well, but then sometimes when I see the animals in the zoo and I'm like, this is nowhere near the size that these animals need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they do so good with like bringing awareness and stuff to animals that people would like donate or like grow, like help bring that animal back to life. Like I think I struggle with it, but I also see the good in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of both.
So any baby animals?
Yep.
No, you don't care?
Don't care. Baby crocodile, I'll
I was
pet
just
it.
about to say baby crocodile.
I would pet it.
Actually, they look super adorable.
They're so cute.
Yeah,
Their little arms are just so wiggly.
They do look like little baby dinosaurs. If they stayed that big, you would...
You'd have one?
Yeah. And then we got this bullfed. Hey,
I
come on.
see you.
What trait of yours are you most proud of?
Oh, a trait of mine? I don't know. So the other day, John watched a TikTok.
Yep.
And it was about, like, everyone has an innate skill.
Yep.
And if you can monetize that skill, then you're doing what comes naturally to you, and then you're making money at it. And so that's what you should do.
Which is he telling you to work on a corner now? He's
No, but it was so funny because he was like, "What's my innate skill?" And I thought about it, and I was like, "You have this really like deep well of kindness. Like it just comes easily to you to be kind to people, and you can't monetize. I mean, maybe you could.
Well, there's that guy that the mindful movement or whatever it is, and he goes around and giving people money, and he makes a living off of that now. Have you not seen that? But
people have to give him money then, right?
Yeah, so I think like he gets sponsorships from people.
Oh.
And then he says like for this sponsorship, like I have no idea about his income, but I'm imagining that he's getting sponsorships.
Well, John's thing is that he's kind to just everybody. But then John said that my thing is that I am kind, but I have that directed towards kids. Like I'm very good with kids. Which I think I am too. Like I love them. I think all kids are just the funniest.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they're the best, and I could hang out with them.
Maybe you need. I know what it is. You need a cooking show on the Food Network doing cookies, but with kids, and then you have to like. It's like you remember how there was that show of like kids say the darnest things.
Yeah.
You're doing that sort of show.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and it's chaos in there, but you're like you would just be having fun.
It would be the best.
Doing that. Food Network, if you're listening, let's get Kate on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, I don't know if it's a trait or just like a thing that I have, but I would say that that's.
Do you know what I would have said for you? Is you just have this positive energy about you. And I'm not saying like a naive positivity, like a rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
Like a positivity where you're just like fun and having fun. Like it just exudes from you. And
that's cool.
It is like you be around you. I've never been around you and been like, fucking Kate, bringing down the fucking room. You know what I mean? I've been like, I walk in and I'm like, Kate just made my day, and I was a shithead all day. You know?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe it's because I'm more like a child inside. Like I'm
mature
enough. Yeah.
Maybe.
What is your comfort food?
Oh, cheese. Cheese.
That threw me out. That threw me off. I was like not ready for that. And how quickly you said that. Oh, cheese. Any type of cheese?
Yep.
Brie cheese?
Yep.
Stinky blue cheese?
Yep.
I don't know any
plastic
other
cheese. I'll eat it. Yep.
Oh,
cheese.
I will say, how good is the wrapper cheese in a plastic? Like oh god, that's so good.
Where it's like not even food anymore.
No.
Love it.
But it was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put that on a piece of bread.
Oh, did you ever do that with toasted?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my mum used to do that when I was a kid, and they were the best things ever.
Yeah. Did you ever put a tomato on it?
No, she used to do banana.
Oh, that's weird.
And then like do a little.
You lost me.
She used to do like that and a little bit of sugar on top. Like I don't know. Yeah, it sounds weird, but it was good at the time. I don't think I'd do it now.
No.
But also, she used to do Vegemite with lettuce in the middle of it.
Ooh.
And that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Vegemite sandwich with lettuce.
Yeah. Working for you guys. I buy my own Vegemite now.
No way.
Yeah, I have a little thing of it at home. Yeah. Oh. I put cheese on it.
Well, Vegemite and cheese is very a very normal thing.
Yeah. I sometimes do Vegemite, cheese, egg. breakfast. I love it.
I've never heard the egg on top, but
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah.
That's crazy that you did that. So, is this something, were you not allowed cheese as a kid? And you're like...
No, I was. I just love cheese.
You just love cheese.
Yeah.
You're like, used to be a mouse. Like,
Yeah.
back in well, the voice makes up for like...
There it is.
Yeah. So when you're in your past life, you were a mouse.
Yep.
And you're like, all right, I love cheese.
Yeah.
What?
Like John will bring me cheese if I'm having a bad day. He'll go and like, you know how they have like the odd ends and bits cheese
No,
section?
I didn't know. I don't know much about cheese.
So at the grocery store, you can get like the little odd ends and bits of the cheese and they'll wrap it up for you and you can get like 3 kinds of cheese because they're tiny. And then you bring it home and just eat it with crackers.
Okay.
Girl dinner.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I had a friend before I met Jillian, we were living together, and he would just buy cheese, but in these big rectangle blocks.
Yep.
He would peel it, and he would just sit there and eat the cheese like if I don't know how like he was a beaver gnawing on a freaking bit of wood. He would just take bites of it, and you would not eat it because you're like, no, that's his cheese.
Because the teeth marks.
Yeah, and so he would just eat that down to the nub.
Like all at one time?
Not at one time. He's the only other person I know that has eaten cheese like that. Now
I don't know if I would sit down and eat a brick of cheese. I mean, I would slice it up and put it on a plate.
And then just eat
But then I would just go back to the brick of cheese and slice more.
So
I
you're
wouldn't
doing the
just
same
eat
thing.
it.
He's just cutting out the middleman of the plate.
Yeah.
So, but we're also like 20 years old. Like I don't imagine he's doing that now.
I bet he probably is.
I should reach out to him. I haven't reached out to him for a while.
Yeah. Just start with that. Hey, do you still eat a brick of cheese
I will.
in your little mitts?
Yeah. He had big hands. He's a big dude. But I remember they were huge. It wasn't like a little block. It was like a huge...
Yeah,
like,
the big one.
yeah, like a brick.
Like the Costco of cheese.
No Costco in Australia.
Oh.
We didn't have anything that big, like in Australia. Like, but for his size, it was huge.
Okay.
I imagine in Costco they got one that's like a cinder block. And you're bringing that in on a
like the whole wheel of Parmesan.
Yeah. The big red wheels that you put on the side of your car. Like, where's your spare tire? Sorry, I went to Costco.
Yeah.
And I got this brew. Yep, fair enough. Cheese it is. I was so thrown off. What is something you have overcome that makes you proud? Cheese addiction?
I have not overcome it.
That.
No, I'm deep in it. Not looking to get out.
This is actually a podcast. This is actually an intervention.
All my loved ones come out. You just smell like cheese all the time.
And please get off the blue cheese. It's the worst.
Gosh, I don't know. I do live a very privileged life. I am well taken care of by my husband. I have great friends. I don't know. I guess I would say, I don't know that it's something I've overcome, but something that I am proud of is I'm super proud of my marriage.
Oh.
I guess. Yeah. I think I was thinking about this because I did listen to all your podcasts before.
Yeah.
And so,
well, thank you for that.
I know the questions that are coming.
Yep.
Which is kind of fun. But I think in COVID, when we all locked down, for me, I can't speak for John. I hope he still likes me. But for me, it kind of like opened up this realization, and we've been married for 10 years. So when COVID, we were like 7-8 years of marriage. Which is a long time. And it was just us. Like, we didn't have kids.
Yeah. You had dogs and cats.
We had dogs and cats, but they don't...
talk or do anything.
Yeah, they don't sass back. And we had a really healthy marriage, I think, before. But in COVID, it sort of was this realization that not only are we a team and that we do things as a team and, like, your teammate as your spouse is just as important to this team as you are. So, like, you have to both get through this together. And not just COVID, but, like, life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, we had to navigate this horrendous, life-changing thing
Yeah.
that happened to everyone around us at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time, but we had to navigate it as a team and
Yeah.
figure out what worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, for me, I think that there was this level of like, you have to talk about shit. Like, we had to talk about what we wanted and what we expected from each other and what we felt safe accepting into our lives in COVID.
Yeah.
And we had very different ideas about that. Like,
So he was like, less cheese.
less cheese, more M&M. But it was sort of like we had to talk about that and to figure out what you want and then express it to your partner, and then they don't agree and figure out what works from there. It's sort of, it's like this, I had this realization that like I can disagree with him, but he still likes me. And that happened for me. Like, I realized like he's not going to leave if we're just having an argument. We're going to figure it out because our goal is to get this team of a marriage through this argument because we like each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think I am proud of myself for figuring that out,
Yeah.
because I think it makes, like, I wouldn't say we're the healthiest fighters, or like I'm not a good
I can't imagine
fighter.
you guys fighting.
But I yelled at him, like I yelled probably for the first time in COVID.
Wow.
Like, to where I thought the neighbors were listening to me yelling.
Yeah.
Where like it was easier to just not yell at each other and to just silent treatment our way through it. For me, not for John.
Yeah.
But for me, it was much easier to be like, well, I don't want to tell him because if I hurt his feelings, then he won't like me anymore, kind of thing.
Wow, okay.
And so that realization came for me
Yeah.
during that time. And I
Yeah.
think that now I feel safer, that I am more vulnerable, but I'm also expressing myself better.
Yeah.
I'm probably proud of that.
That stuff resonates with me so much. There was this one time when I have fallen more in love with Jillian, and I didn't think I could. So Fletcher was about a year old, and I was working at a small design firm, and I really enjoyed it there. It was the most creative design ways that I've ever been. And my boss calls me in on this day, and he'd made these jokes before, and he goes, hey, and even before I could sit down, we got to have a chat. Hey, we're struggling with money, and we've got to let you go. And I was like, ha ha ha. And then I sat down, and he goes, no, that's true. And I was like just lump in my throat.
Yeah.
So I drive home, and I'm just like in tears. I've let my family down. I'm fucked. Like, I don't know what to do. So we pull up. I pull up, and Fletcher and Jillian are like walking down. Well, Fletcher's in the stroller.
Right.
And I pull the car over, and I get out, and she goes, what's wrong? Why are you home? Because I hadn't called her. I couldn't say anything. And I'm like choking up, and I was like, the design firm let me go. Like, and she's like, without missing a beat, she goes, all right, we have about 3 months worth of savings. I think you'll have a job within a month. And then a couple of other things. She goes, do you want to go get lunch? So we just left the car there, and we just went and got lunch.
Yeah.
And I just felt so safe.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, we're in this together.
Yeah.
Like, sort of thing. And those times, and whether it's like COVID happening like that, the hard times, yes, it'd be great if life was like super easygoing at all times and there wasn't bumps in the road, but there's always going to be some sort of bump in the road.
Yeah.
No matter whatever point it is, and be able to converse it out and feel safe that you can converse.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Like, Jillian and I still butt heads and that.
Totally.
And as you parent, like, you and John will probably have different ways of parenting. Like, like, oh, they should buck up and do that. Or, come on, they need a little bit more comforting than that. Or, like, simple things, like, just stuff like that. But anyway, I fully agree. And that's amazing that you guys found that, especially during COVID and then before you had your child.
Polly Waffles.
Polly Waffles. The man with the hair.
Yeah.
Like, that way you've got that sorted out before you get into the hardest thing, the best thing, but the hardest thing that will happen.
Yep.
So, That's cool. I feel like I know one of these straight off the bat, but
Okay.
what are the 3 things that you are grateful for?
Well, cheese. Is that what you were guessing?
No, I thought you were going to say family. Everyone says family.
I mean, I am. I'm super grateful for my
Yeah.
family. We're in this weird phase where we're remodeling. So we're living with my mom. We have a baby. We're trying to be a couple. It's just weird. I am so grateful, though, that we have the support system that we do. So, of course, I'm grateful
Yeah.
for family, but that's boring.
Do you know what? I should say with the thing on here, like, family, and unless it's like a direct thing, like, oh, this person gave me a kidney.
Yeah.
Like, then it's like
Yeah.
family, of course, or like
Yeah.
friends, of course. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Outside of your friends and family, what 3
Outside of
things?
friends and family, what am I grateful for? I am really grateful that we live here.
In
We
Seattle?
went, yeah, just kind of in the Northwest. When John and I
don't know if I
were,
could agree with that.
before we were kids, and when I was still nannying,
Yeah,
and John was working remote.
that's right.
So
yeah.
he was working for a company in Colorado. And I
Yeah.
was like, we could really live anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
we could live anywhere in the entire world. We
Mhm.
could move across continents.
Yeah.
We could go wherever we want to go.
Yeah.
And so we kind of entertained the idea a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was sort of like, where else has all of this stuff? Like, where else has 4 seasons? Where else has ocean and mountain and lake?
Okay. Let's put
I
the
have
ocean.
heard- I have
let's
heard
put
your
the ocean
rant
on pause there. That is
about-
fucking freezing. Okay.
But it's still salt water.
Yeah, but it's like,
There's
you're not
still
going in
whales.
it. When's the last time you went into the salt water?
This summer. I mean, I waded in. And then I was like, this is fucking cold.
So glad we have an ocean.
But I do, like, it's cool to have.
It's a very cool place.
It's a very cool
lot.
place.
There's many other places I'd probably live if money and family and situations were
Right.
different. Like, I'd definitely, if money was not an issue and I could work from anywhere, I'd probably just go live in Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
But
I
it's
would-
such a small space.
How often do you travel out of your space?
It's true, but you have to, like, plan ahead to leave Hawaii.
No, just get on a plane.
I mean, I guess if money's no issue.
If
You have your own helicopter.
well, that's a different story. If I'm a Zuckerberg and I'm just going in and out of there,
Yeah.
but I would prefer somewhere warmer.
Yeah?
And this sounds so odd, but tropical, so I don't have to worry about water as much.
Ah.
And so that's why around here, even though we've had a pretty dry winter so
Yeah.
far, the water makes me feel a little bit more comfortable with everything that's sort of going on.
Yeah.
That I don't have to, where I'm from in Australia, like, water's going to become more and more of an issue,
Right.
as we sort of go on.
Yeah. Even in the States.
Yeah, in some parts of the States. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would live in. I would love to have spent some time in LA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd live there now. I would love it if this podcast and that made me have to travel there more, so I got to enjoy that. I feel like, or like Austin or something like that,
Yeah.
where there's this like more, less of this suburban stuff, and I got like inspiration. You got to
Yeah.
be a part of that sort of world a little bit. That'd be fun.
Would you move every year? If you could. If money was no object and you got to pick where you went and do what you wanted to do, would you move every year?
Do I have to move every year, or is it a choice? Or
It's a choice.
Okay. Yeah, because if I found a spot and be like, so where I'm from in Australia, this place called Fremantle, that I love. I just love it there. But take me outside of that bubble of Fremantle, and it's still a lovely place, but it's very like deserty, dry, all that sort of stuff. But
Yeah.
there's not much else around.
Yeah.
Like, there's beautiful places, like surf spots, beautiful places, and you can travel up and you're like, but you can only do that stuff so many times.
Right.
And it's so far away. So even if I had all the money in the world, I don't know if I would base myself there, even though I
Okay.
love it. So I'm not in love with any space anywhere. Like, I can always find the beauty in that spot.
Right.
Like, if I'm, where was I? Out at Suncadia.
Okay.
And we were driving around. I was like, could I live out here? Like, and
Yeah.
like, it's close enough to Seattle where if you had to get in for a meeting and whatever,
Yeah.
you could. I could always find like, oh, I had a house like this and I could live out here. Like I'd get to enjoy the snow. I'd get to do that
Yep.
stuff. But I think I could do that anywhere
Yeah.
because of that. So, but if I didn't have to worry about moving such a fucking pain in the ass,
Right.
that I didn't even have to worry about the moving part. Yeah, sure. I could probably like skip around town if my kids were getting well educated and like weren't getting destroyed socially by having to like meet new people and do that sort of stuff. I took that aspect out, then I would be like, yeah, sure. But I feel like most people just get into a routine. I'm sure Jeff Bezos is like, okay, I live in this house and I travel to these places and I go on my yacht. Like everyone gets into their routine. There's very few that, what's the word when you are sporadic people out there that are just like go like, I think anyone who's got an Apple Watch and if it ever pops up like, oh, hey, you're 5 minutes until this place, my Apple Watch knows that I go to Everest pickleball place a bunch and it'll be like, oh, you'll be there in 5 minutes. And I'll be like, I didn't ask you.
Yeah.
But thanks for making me feel like if someone wanted to assassinate me, they just know to be along that trail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I feel like everyone just gets in their routine. So wherever you are, but the happiest times I am is when like here summer, lovely. I feel like as soon as Jillian and I can, we'll become snowbirds. And like, if the kids are around here still, then we'll be here for the summer and then go be somewhere else for the winter.
Okay.
And just be that. What about yourself?
I would pick a place and stay forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the community and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I also feel like being Australian, I get sort of an easier way of going in and meeting people.
Yeah.
Like being American, I think it's fun, but people always have like, oh, they're American.
Oh, that's American.
But where me, I sort of get the rose-colored glasses of looking at it. I'm like, oh, hey, how you going? I can throw it up a little bit and like, oh, nah, in Australia we do it like, oh, g'day, mates. Yeah, like, you know.
Yeah.
And people love that stuff.
Because when we were thinking about moving, we would only have moved for a time.
Yeah.
And then planned on moving back. Because all of our family's here.
Yeah.
Niece and nephew, brothers, sisters, parents, all that kind of stuff.
I did miss being an uncle when I was in Australia.
Yeah.
Like I love, like, don't remember we had friends there.
Yeah.
And I had friends that had kids and I loved being, but unless you're with them and you have that really close relationship with them.
Yep.
So we have, as you know, Sunday dinner every week. Then most times, like 99% of the time, all the families here, I've got a relationship with every niece and nephew that we have.
Yeah.
And all in different ones. Like I have secret handshakes. I have little like jokes with them and stuff like that. And as they've grown, the jokes progress or get different or whatever.
Yep.
But every single one of those kids will know that like their Uncle Matty has their back or will bend over backwards to do something or will be fun.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I see that. I can see the family aspect. That's the reason we moved back here.
Right.
And we didn't move away, like, or somewhere different, moving back to America.
Right.
Be like, oh, let's do LA, and then that way we're close enough, but...
Yeah.
So, what's your second grateful after that big spiel?
Oh, yeah. I forgot what the question was. Second grateful... I would say I'm really grateful for my health. I'm grateful that I can do... Well, I'm grateful that I can do that, right? Like, I'm grateful that I have a body that will do that for me.
Yep.
And part of it is because I take care of it, and part of it is just that I'm lucky to be in the body that I am.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful... I don't know. I guess I'm just grateful to be in the life that I'm in.
It's a pretty good one.
It's a really good one.
Yeah. I think that's really special when people get to say that. Not many people get to say it, to be honest. I think a lot of people are probably in jobs that they're not super into. Maybe it's a relationship or maybe it's finances. Like they made a mistake when they were younger and they're clawing back or something like that. The amount of people that I talk to, because they say that they find out I do illustration still. And they're like, the amount of people that work at a job and they're like, I don't love my job, I'm good at it, but I don't know what I would do if I didn't do this.
Yeah.
Is so many. And blows my mind. I'm kind of jealous of those people because they're happy doing what they're doing. They're like, oh, I'll ride this out. I'm great.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like so aspirational. But those people, like, I just can't imagine not having a passion outside
Right.
of it. Like, yeah, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, I think it's amazing that you get to say, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You get to feel you're creative and you're entrepreneurial and your mom and being with a kid, and then you get a loving husband and getting to build your dream kitchen and all that stuff and family around.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Wendy,
I'm lucky and I worked for it. It's a mix of the two.
Unlucky and you worked for it?
I am lucky.
Oh, yeah.
And I worked for it.
So that's the thing is when I say lucky, I don't mean, oh, you fell into luck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like luck that you get to enjoy it, you know?
Yeah.
Like that you feel lucky,
yes.
you know what I mean?
I agree.
But I assume that anyone who's done anything, even if you win the lotto, I feel like you had to work for it. You know what I mean? If someone's like, I won the lotto, I'm like, yeah, you probably like, some people are probably rich that win the lotto, but like for the most part, let's say it's someone that's like it's a blue collar worker. It's like, I'm cleaning toilets and I won the lotto. I'm like, yeah, you fucking deserve to win the lotto.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like, you did your hard yards. You know what I mean? Like, sure, there's some people that probably like, there's some nepotism babies that pop out and like land and they're like, oh, sweet, I'm riding on a golden skateboard of life.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm sure they have to go through some shit as well. You
Yep.
just don't have to worry about the financial need.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
It's always something.
Yeah. I believe that you work for it. You have to wear a shirt with a slogan on it for a year. What does it say?
Oh, I have my shirt already. I almost wore it today, but it's dirty because I was wearing it. I have a sweatshirt that says...
Did you come up with the slogan, though?
No.
Oh.
It just has it.
Okay. So
I got it
I'll
on
give you
Etsy.
this, but I feel like you've got to come up with your own.
Oh, well, I have my sweatshirt. I would change one word of it, though. It says, I'm pretty cool, but I cry a lot, which is me. I'm pretty cool, but I cry a lot. But I wouldn't say but. I would say my logo is, I'm pretty cool and I cry a lot.
Oh, because the but feels like you're saying sorry for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
I'm pretty cool and I cry a lot. Like I cried today. I saw a sad dog video on Instagram. Cried. Oh my God.
So the last time I really cried was when Jillian and I left each other at Australia for the first time.
Really?
I think I've cried like welled up.
Yeah.
I think like I've had some like crazy stuff still go on, but it's not that I'm against crying. Maybe Jillian might be able to tell. It might be like maybe 10 times I've cried in my life. Sometimes I wish I would just cry. Like, and when I cry, like I laugh at the same time because I don't know how to cry. Because I feel like I'm like I don't know if it's holding it in or not. I'm not bummed on anyone that cries. I just wish I could.
You feel better.
Yeah, I feel like I'd release some stuff.
Yep.
Maybe that's why you're so like...
John has his like mid-morning ice cream and I have my mid-morning cry. And that's how we get through the day.
Cheese and cry. Nom, nom, nom. Nom, nom,
yeah,
nom.
this cheese is so good.
It's baby cheese.
Yep. Yep.
That's amazing. So, right. So you got you crying a day keeps the... I don't know, doctor away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Keeps the grouchies away?
Keeps
maybe.
The grouchies. Maybe I'd be less grouchy if I cried more.
Try it.
I don't know. I honestly don't know how to cry. I don't know. Like, I'm not... This is not a...
Do you cry when you do onions? Do you
No.
cut onions? You
No.
don't even cry then?
No, I didn't think... I can't remember the last time onions even affect me. It might be because I eat so many onions. Like, me and onions have fused into one. I tell you this. Honestly, if I don't wear deodorant and I've got BO, it smells like onions.
But you do wear deodorant.
Well, yeah, of course.
Who told you smell like onions? Do you smell yourself?
Well, if I go like, hey man, do I stink? And I go, oh dang, and then I'll be like, oh, that smells like onions.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like not like a 1-for-1 onion feeling emotion. I mean, a scent, but it's definitely like a strong onion odor. Huh. Yeah. Maybe you're cheese. Maybe I
am. I do know one time I told my friend I could eat 15 pancakes. And she was like, get in the car, we're going right now.
No way.
And I didn't eat 15 pancakes.
How many did you get down to?
Not quite 7.
I thought you were going to say like I got to 14 and a half.
No,
And I was like,
well, we went to IHOP.
well, they're pretty thick, right, as well?
Yeah, they're Big Daddy pancakes.
Yeah.
And we went to IHOP and they have the unlimited pancakes. And I was like, listen, the waiter comes over. He could not even give 2 shits less than he does about being a waiter at IHOP, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So he comes over and I'm like, listen, I'm doing an eating contest. I have to eat 15 pancakes. So I need these to come out.
Yeah.
And he goes, I can bring you 3. Like at a time. You have to finish your 3. And I was like, okay, but I need
the next 3.
I need the next 3. Like I can't be sitting getting full on my pancakes.
Yeah. Expanding.
Anyway, he didn't care about my eating contest at all. Yeah. So the pancakes took really long.
Like they do in the
Probably water, probably coffee. I don't know.
How old are you? Tell me this was last week.
It was John was there, so it was in the last 12 years.
Okay.
But I don't think that we were engaged yet. So it was pretty early.
So he's like, oh God.
Yeah, he's like, what did I just sign up for?
Maybe that was his tipping point.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So anyway, all this story to say, I ate not quite 7 pancakes. And then I was just laying there and I was like, I got to move around. So I went to yoga with my friend who took me to the pancakes. The same friend is here for this whole like roller coaster of pancaking. Are you
still friends with him? Was this
yeah.
Yep.
Sorry? Yeah, she's the best.
Okay.
But I am in yoga and we're like warming up and she leans over and she goes, I can smell, you smell like pancake. Like it's just coming out of my pores because I had had so many pancakes and it was like that kind of like sweet syrupy, but also like the bread of the like yeasty pancake flour butter. And I was like, I'm just going to lay down. I think I had to lay down more in that yoga class than I ever have before. But yeah, I could see onions if you eat too many onions.
Yeah, maybe watch it like, what could I eat to make myself more, like smell better? I don't know. There's nothing you can eat that someone's going to like, oh, I'm glad I ate that that smells like that.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want a person to smell like
when you sweat, it's not like you're like getting a sweet smell of like, like whatever it is. If I ate a lot of chocolate, people are going to go, oh, chocolate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gross.
They'd think you smelled like old candy bar.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Kate, I appreciate you being on here so much.
Thank you so much.
My dogs were such a
No, I love them. I love both of them.
Knocked over lights and all that sort of stuff. A little bit of chaos for the fun. We'll see what we keep in the edit.
Yeah.
Of their chaos.
Yeah.
But well, you know,
this is the best.
You know, I think that you're awesome.
This was so fun.
And I'm very excited. And I can't wait to see what the drawing comes out like.
Yeah, me too.
It'll be interesting.
There's no cheese in that drawing. I'm sending it back. We're going to redo this.
We'd redo it every time until you get a cheese drawing.
Yeah. Yep.
God, that... Fuck, I got a bit of cheese in there now. I never know what the, like, in this conversation, I never know what the drawing's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, and I really try not to... If I know the person that's going to be on or what they do, I try not to think of anything. Like, I was like thinking of stuff while I was getting prepped, and I was like, I don't want it to be like, I want the conversation to come out as what it's about. And
that's hard.
Yeah, and so right now I have nothing, but I could like pack this away and walk up and be like, there's the drawing, or I'll be working like doing a lot of sketches like for the next couple of days trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what comes out.
Cool. Me too.
Then, well,
right.
Kate, thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thanks for being awesome, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay.